The current energy has put a bit of a dampener on feeling inspired, and Spirit wants you to take a moment to sort of rest and rejuvenate and think to yourself, what does inspire me? And you'll know it because you'll feel a little bit of excitement inside, and it takes us away from that sense of I just want to sleep it off, I don't want to engage, I don't want to do anything, I'm sick of all this, that kind of lack of inspiration that you have, and you're like, I don't know what's going to make me feel better. You just want to shout at the world. And Spirit is encouraging you to just pull back and give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of research into something that just is tinkling away in the background for you may also help you feel that inspiration again, because for whatever reason, the full moon has its effect on us and kind of pulls us in different directions, making us think that we're not thinking straight. And that is not the case. It's really just stirring things up. This blood moon, full moon that we've just had, the solar eclipse was just beautiful down here in Nhill. I was able to, watch the whole thing. And usually, to be fair, there's quite often a lot of cloud cover when we have these amazing planetary things that happen. So it was lovely to see. But when we're watching it, we can see how much our moon impacts on us and how much the moon and the sun impacts as it covered up the moon and it changed the color of the moon. Imagine what that's doing to us on an etherical level. So don't take everything to heart that you're feeling a bit at the moment and you're feeling a little bit pulled this way and that way. This is the effect of the change that is meant to be coming for you. It's entirely up to you how you engage with that. So do some research into that little thing that's niggling and saying, hey, hello, because Spirit sends the inspirations to us, and sometimes we can ignore that because it feels like hard work, especially if we're feeling tired. So Spirit is encouraging you to do some research, and that will get your inspirational juices flowing once again. So you know the deal. We're going to pick 3 cards, the left, the right, or the middle. You can pick all 3 or take one of those, whichever feels right for you. If you pick the left card, this card is saying, okay, so finding your strategy. It's hard because so many people are involved. They want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you how to do it. But Spirit is saying that if you take your time, and over here we can see all these books, get the research, find the way to look at the right thing that is for you. And it's not about getting to the end, that just as he's playing the game of chess. If you play a good game of chess, it takes quite some time because we're thinking about, we move this way, we move that way. And Spirit is saying that this is what you would do when you're heading towards a goal. You don't just go and arrive at it. You gradually work your way to it. And it's the journey that brings the joy. It's the journey that is the inspiration, because you are the person who's thinking of the next step all the time. You are the person that's moving towards it. And then, once we reach our goal, we're kind of like, yay. I was just on Facebook a moment ago and I saw a friend of mine's daughter had their graduation, and they've completed that part of their goal. They've graduated into being a master of whatever it is, right? Or bachelor, whatever it is. And yet now they have to do the work, so there's always the next step as we move in our change, isn't there? So Spirit is encouraging you to see it as a strategy game, to see it as you are the one in charge. It's not about fate, it's not about waiting to see if something happens. If you're thinking about a goal and you're not sure whether you should or could do that, Spirit says ask a question that has a definitive yes or no answer, that it becomes an affirmation to you about that decision to move towards that goal. So, for example, you may ask, should I do this particular career change? And then you see a movie that has something similar, or somebody talks to you about something similar without realizing that that was your question for the day. Things like that are the way that Spirit will send you that affirmation. Of course, how can you notice that affirmation if you didn't ask the question? It would just be a coincidence. And you'd be like, oh, that's interesting that that's happened. But actually, it can be a very definitive answer, especially if you have asked the question. Righties. Yeah, so this is showing you that we can satisfy some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. And this is This is letting people do what they need to do. You don't need to control what their decisions are, just as you wouldn't want someone to control your decision-making process. So trust yourself and trust the other in your life, that they are doing what they need to do, and it's not for us to judge. We can be disappointed sometimes that people aren't like racing and doing stuff like we are, perhaps. But that doesn't make it that they're a bad person. It doesn't make it that they're wrong, that they're resting. They're in Mercury retrograde too. Ooh, and this just shows beware of arguing or creating a perspective difference or a discussion that's about something that you don't agree with. Don't look at the detail. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, the Spirit is saying that you're tired. We're all tired. We've just had this massive full moon that's indicating towards a change. We are in Mercury retrograde. Now is not the time to demonstrate your frustration. It's like recognize that you feel that frustration within yourself. But don't make it the big picture. This is a moment in time. Okay, so go gently, and go gently with the others in your life. On that note, we did get the purity card today for our soul words over there, and I thought it would just be interesting to look up the actual dictionary meaning of that, and that is a freedom from contamination. And I thought that was really interesting because our perspective can be contaminated by our striving towards perfection. Why do we do that? Why does everything have to be perfect? So, this is the this and that. We're going this way, we're going that way. We're changing it up. It's not contaminated. It's not perfect, but we're getting there. And so Spirit is encouraging you to think about that as well as you move forward through this energy. Enjoy.